And out of racing with John Tappan, that was one excited jockey today, Tappy.
The whole race, Ken, the Doncaster handicap, was a race of high emotion, and the winning jockey, Gavin Eads, actually shared his elation with the dumbstruck clerk of the course. We'll see that shortly. The Derby was run a short time before the Doncaster, and the odds-on favourite Mahogany never really gave backers the slightest cause for concern.
White colours there with the red cap.
Rain threatened to ruin Royal Randwick's biggest day, and while members huddled in the famous wrought iron stand, mug punters ignored the drizzle for a last look at the Derby runners. Most rich and poor money rode on Mahogany.
Off and running in the Derby, looked a good start.
After some early jostling, the field settled, Mahogany cruising through most of the 2,400-metre journey on autopilot.
A neck away Mahogany, who goes to sleep third for Greg Hall.
Then at the top of the straight, the favourite took off.
But Mahogany swept to the lead, 100 out, he's got them struggling. White Kicker Moo Cow in second place, can't do any better. And then Arborea and Fraternity, but Mahogany flat to the board, just holding White Kicker Moo Cow, and it's the two-state Derby double to Mahogany.
Hall also rode Mahogany to victory in the VJC Derby, and after winning last week's Golden Slipper on Dan Zero, everything's coming up roses for the Group 1 jockey. Mahogany 10-9 on favourite, White Kicker Moo Cow at 10s, Fraternity 50-1. In the chairman's handicap, Paris Fire came home burning.
Paris Fire gets the upper hand. The long striding Paris Fire drawing away in the last bit. He had a beautiful run in the race, and he comes away to win easily over.
11-1 for Paris Fire, Cross Swords at 20-1, 14s for Red for Go. But the hottest race of the day proved the Doncaster. Telesto went out slow and came home with a customary late run, but Kingston Bay and Pharaoh made it a three-way finish, mighty tough to call.
And Telesto right behind those leaders. Poetic King tackled by Kingston Bay, Excited Angel, and look at Pharaoh. Pharaoh coming down the outside, might tip them all out. Kingston Bay, Pharaoh, Telesto getting up on the inside of them all, close.
The judge studied two photos before Pharaoh got the nod by a nose. Pharaoh paid 12s, Kingston Bay 25-1, and Telesto 7-1. Pharaoh's Gavin Eads almost changed mounts. Shane Dye's horse talk getting who the win was for right from the jockey's mouth.
Hey Mum, that's for Dad, all right? I hope you're watching him, and that's for Dad.
Eads rode in the blue and green colours of Tommy Smith. Daughter Gay Waterhouse trains Pharaoh, and with her famous father still in hospital, this $1 million win was also for her old man.
The most exciting day of my life, and it's just Dad's created the dream for me and given it to me.
Andrew McKinlay, National 9 News.
And it all happens again on Monday with the second day of the carnival.
Can hardly wait, John.
Good on you.
Thank you. Well, the weather is next, then the Easter show's pulling.
Racing carnival, including the Derby and the Doncaster. Heavy overnight rain in Sydney did nothing to dampen interest in the races, for which Lee Friedman was lining up the favourites.
The Sydney skies cleared for the $1 million AJC Derby. White Kicker Moo Cow delayed proceedings for 5 minutes, but all the money was on the Lee Friedman-trained Mahogany. He went out at 10-9 on.
As they come over the rise, Greg Hall looks extra confident on Mahogany. Zaremba's in front as they top the hill. Mahogany is gobbling him up very quickly with White Kicker Moo Cow and Arborea down the outside, but Mahogany swept to the lead, 100 out. He's got them struggling. White Kicker Moo Cow in second place, can't do any better, and then Arborea and Fraternity, but Mahogany flat to the board, just holding White Kicker Moo Cow, and it's the two-state Derby double to Mahogany. White Kicker Moo Cow second, Fraternity third.
So Mahogany not paying a huge dividend at odds on. White Kicker Moo Cow at 10s, Fraternity at 50-1. Now to the chairman's handicap.
Into the clear now, and then in the event followed by Palais the Louvre, and here that Bell and Azama giving them a big start coming over the rise. Cross Swords headed Red for Go. Paris Fire threatening danger. They're clear of our Pompeii and Palais the Louvre. Cross Swords, Paris Fire. Cross Swords and Paris Fire have come away. They're fighting it out tooth and nail. Paris Fire gets the upper hand. The long striding Paris Fire drawing away in the last bit. He had a beautiful run in the race, and he comes away to win easily over Cross Swords with Red for Go third.
Paris Fire 11-1, Cross Swords 20s, Red for Go 14s, Our Pompeii unplaced at 3-1. Now to the 1600-metre Doncaster.
From Never Under Charge, Excited Angel down the outside, and then Ruslan and Al Akbar and Telesto right behind those leaders. Poetic King tackled by Kingston Bay, Excited Angel, and look at Pharaoh. Pharaoh coming down the outside, might tip them all out. Kingston Bay, Pharaoh, Telesto getting up on the inside of them all. Close, Telesto.
Pharaoh got up for Gay Waterhouse, Kingston Bay at 25s, Telesto at 7s, Poetic King the unplaced favourite at... Well, the American baseball season starts this weekend, and the LA Dodgers is one club always open
In racing with the AJC Derby and Doncaster at Randwick. Doubts over the heavy track made the double hard to pick, but in the Derby, punters kept faith in top trainer Lee Freedman, sending Mahogany out hot favourite at 10-9 on.
As they come over the rise, Greg Hall looks extra confident on Mahogany. Zaremba's in front as they top the hill. Mahogany is gobbling him up very quickly with Waikikamu Cow and Arborea down the outside. But Mahogany swept to the lead, 100 out. He's got them struggling. Waikikamu Cow in second place, can't do any better. And then Arborea and Fraternity, but Mahogany flat to the board, just holding Waikikamu Cow. And it's the two-state Derby double to Mahogany.
Mahogany proving he's virtually unbeatable against his own age group and delighting punters. Now to the Doncaster.
Poetic King dashed to the lead. Poetic King has burst to the lead from Never Under Charge. Excited Angel down the outside. And then Ruslan and Al Akbar and Telesto right behind those leaders. Poetic King tackled by Kingston Bay. Excited Angel. And look at Pharaoh. Pharaoh coming down the outside. Might tip them all out. Kingston Bay, Pharaoh, Telesto getting up on the inside of them all. Close Telesto. Telesto or Pharaoh. I think they've just beaten Kingston Bay in the centre. It's a desperately close one.
Pharaoh getting the photo after an agonising wait. Gay Smith had only taken over training the horse 4 weeks ago. That's the day in sport. Prue.
Thanks, Mark. And now here's David Elliard with the weather.
Pharaoh gave Tom's daughter Gay her first victory in the Group 1 race. The judge called for 2 developed prints.
Off in the Doncaster, Telesto straight out the...
Melbourne gallopers Poetic King and Golden Sword fought out favouritism for the $1 million Doncaster. Golden Sword having his final start before going to stud, and Poetic King facing the starter for just the 9th time. Also fancied Telesto, the champ, with the powerful finish.
King dashed to the lead. Poetic King has burst to the lead from Never Under Charge. Excited Angel down the outside, and then Ruslan and Al Akbar and Telesto right behind those leaders. Poetic King tackled by Kingston Bay. Excited Angel, and look at Pharaoh. Pharaoh coming down the outside, might tip them all out. Kingston Bay, Pharaoh, Telesto getting up on the inside of them all. Close Telesto.
The replay showed up a near triple dead heat. The judge needing 5 minutes to finally declare the winner, Pharaoh, much to the delight of trainer Gay Waterhouse.
One of the closest Doncaster finishes in history, a nose by a nose.
Earlier, the Lee Freedman trained Mahogany confirmed his rating as the best 3-year-old in the land, winning the AJC Australian Derby.
But Mahogany flat to the board, just holding Waikikamu Cow, and it's the two-state Derby double to Mahogany. Waikikamu Cow.
Pharaoh's jockey Gavin Eads reportedly kissed the clerk of the course after that win. It was his biggest, of course. Well, speaking of jockeys, Greg Hall's dream run has ended abruptly. It was the Golden Slipper on Dan Zero last week and the Derby on Mahogany today, but he's been suspended until May the 2nd on 2 separate careless riding charges during the Derby. Suspensions aren't effective until after Monday's Randwick meeting, so he can ride Dan Zero again in the AJC Sires Produce Stakes. After the break in sports tonight, surfing at Bells, the water polo titles, and all set for the James Hardy 12 Hour.